Hello everyone, this is Kevin Zhao, your finance professor at MTSU. In this video, I will go through the details of solving a problem in chapter 14, that is question 7. That's the reinstated question. You have been asked to value a company, Oneida Steel Company. The company reported $80 million in net income, $50 million in capital expenditure, and $20 million in depreciation in just the completed financial year. The firm also reported that its non-cash working capital increased by $20 million during that year, and that the total debt outstanding increased by $10 million. The book value of equity was $400 million, cost of equity 10%, and the question is asking you to estimate the equity reinvestment rate, return on equity, expected growth rate, assuming that ratio stay the same. B, if the growth rate is expected to last 5 years and then drop to 4% after that, the return on equity after year 5 is expected to be 12%, and estimate the value of equity. Right? So it's a two-step procedure to reach the value of equity in this question. Okay, once again, this is a free cash flow to equity model. How do you get a free cash flow to the equity? It equals net income minus depreciation, amortization, plus minus capital expenditure plus depreciation, amortization, then minus change in working capital, and minus change in debt. That is how you get a free cash flow to equity. First of all, you need to estimate net income in future years, and depreciation, amortization, so on and so forth. But in this question, you don't have those numbers, or it's really hard for you to estimate those numbers without knowing depreciation, amortization in future years, because it doesn't tell you the growth rates at all. So this question actually challenges you regarding the alternative way to estimate the free cash flow to equity. So let me give you a little hint here. Free cash flow to equity could equal to net income times 1 minus the reinvestment rate, equity reinvestment rate. So after all the equity reinvestment, including depreciation, amortization, and the change in working capital, we are getting the free cash flow to equity estimation. It's an alternative way to reach this FCFE. And the key point here is to get this reinvestment rate. That's why in question A, it asks you to estimate reinvestment rate. Right? So let's build this table. This two-stage model. Year 0, net income $80 million. You have no number on depreciation, amortization, and other stuff. In the high growth time period, 5 years of high growth time period, you don't know the growth rate. You need to estimate that, although you see 10%, but that 10% is something that I estimated in the table on the left. And then you apply this growth rate to estimate net income, and then times net income with 1 minus reinvestment rate. Reinvestment rate is also another estimate that I developed in the left table. And you can get this free cash flow to equity directly. And you discount free cash flow to equity to get present value as well as terminal value to reach the equity value. So that's the main framework for this problem solving. But the unique aspect of this problem is to estimate this reinvestment rate. Reinvestment rate equals equity reinvestment divided by net income. And what is equity reinvestment? In this case, capital expenditure $50 million in the current year, depreciation, amortization $20 million, change in working capital $20 million, and the change in debt is $10 million. So those are information that you can get from the question. So the total amount of equity reinvestment equals capex minus depreciation amortization plus change in working capital and minus change in debt. So that's the equity reinvestment. That is $40 million divided by net income $80 million. You get equity reinvestment rate. And the second step is to estimate this growth rate. And the growth rate equals equity reinvestment rate times ROE. That's what we learned in the chapter of the growth rate. And also we are going to apply this in this problem solving. So what is ROE? Well, I have a small table here to calculate ROE. Net income $80 million, book value equity 400 million. So ROE would equal to 20%. Then reinvestment rate equals the growth rate equals this reinvestment rate 50% times 20% of ROE, which equals 10%. And also cost of equity was assumed at 10%. That's what we'll use to discount future free cash flow to equity. Once you have reinvestment rate here and a growth rate here, then you can estimate free cash flow to equity. So net income grow at 10% for the first 5 years. And then the growth rate declined to 4%, which is stated in the question. Right? So you get an estimation for future net incomes. And then reinvestment rate will be 50% for the next 5 years, 50%, right? But what about the reinvestment rate in the 6th year? And here, there's a shortcut to get this number. Reinvestment rate equals the growth rate divided by ROE. Growth rate was 4%. Growth rate 4%, ROE is 12%. Those are information that you can get from the question. That will give you 33% reinvestment rate. And based on that, you can estimate free cash flow to equity. Then you discount those free cash flow to equity to get future values. The present values of first 5 years of free cash flow to equity as well as terminal value. So this is terminal value. And then equity value equals sum of present value and this TV. I'm sorry. Let me see if this TV is discounted. Yeah, TV has been discounted. And here, this is a discount factor. Right. So this is a short video showing you alternative way to estimating free cash flow to equity based on reinvestment rate. And also it reveals a very tricky estimation of IR, reinvestment rate, based on growth rate and ROE. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so very much. This is Kevin Zhao, your finance professor.